What's good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about whether clones are worth purchasing. And just to start off the video, I'm going to show you 3 fragrances that I have, or 3 bottles. And this will basically give you the answer to the entire video. You see them? Yeah, I have 3 bottles cloning Aventus. So you can already kind of tell what or how I feel about clones. And in general, I do think clones are beneficial, especially for the fragrance industry. Now, I know clones as a general topic is kind of, what's the word? A little bit touchy, only because some people have moral conflicts with it, because you're basically stealing the idea of a company, of a different company, and then you're kind of like branding it, not necessarily as your own, but you're producing a copycat that's like sometimes 85 to 90% the same. And then you're selling it, obviously trying to make a profit as well. But I think clones in general play a very important role in the fragrance industry, primarily because it shows you the true value of fragrances. It shows you how cheap they can be made. Most of these clones, especially from the House of Armaf, even the designer ones too, are pretty inexpensive. Like, you can pick this up for pretty much like 50 Canadian. And in the US, that's about like 36 bucks, I'm pretty sure. 36 USD for 100 milliliters of something that smells like 90% similar to what it's trying to copy. You know, at that point, it's like, it seems like a no-brainer. Like, why would you not buy this instead? But, you know, there's obviously arguments for getting the original, which honestly I don't have, and I've only smelled the original like once or twice. Sometimes these clone companies just can't get it right. They might make a clone of your favorite fragrance, you smell it, and it just doesn't give you that same feeling because there's something missing. There's either a note missing, an accord, or maybe the general quality of the fragrance isn't the same. So, you know, it's not always all is well with clones. You know, sometimes there are faults, there are deficiencies, but in general, I think clones do play an important role in a fragrance collector's collection, especially if you're not trying to break the bank. For example, I do have an original and then also the clone of it. Why? Because this is my first Creed fragrance, it's my first niche fragrance, it's my first fragrance that, you know, was considerably more expensive than most of my other fragrances. So for me to just wear this anytime I want to, you know, wear the scent, it's kind of expensive, and I run through bottles fairly quickly if I like the scent. My collection is not that big. I have around like 20 bottles possibly. So when I get a fix on a certain fragrance, or maybe better yet, when I go through a phase with a certain fragrance when I'm just like obsessed with it, or, you know, it just really fits the weather or the occasion, you know, I can go through a bottle very quickly. And now, does it make sense to go through half a bottle of Creed in one summer? To some people it might, to me it doesn't, and that's where the clone comes in. You get 80 to 90% of the authentic, which, you know, I already have it. If I ever want to wear the authentic, to smell the authentic, I have it right here. But for the days where, you know, maybe you're not going to a super formal occasion, or, you know, it's not really anything special, you're just around the house and you just want to get, you know, the general vibe of the fragrance, clones are amazing for that. Now, with clones, there is something that you got to pay attention with, and that's they're possibly even more addicting than the originals themselves. And what do I mean by that? Is that the more you buy clones, it's never enough. Like, you want more and more and more. Even if you didn't smell the original, if it gets hyped, like that one Imagination clone, you know, the blue bottle, I forget what it's called exactly. Actually, I can find it right now. Imagination clone. Latafa, probably. Ah, yes. Al Haramain Amber Oud cologne for men, which you can get for pretty much like $82 on Amazon. I'm assuming you can get it even cheaper on like Fragrance Buy or Fragrance Net or whatever. Anyways, so that is the problem with colognes, is that they're so much cheaper than the authentic fragrance, that's so easy to just buy it. Like, you're like, oh, it's what, 36 bucks American, or maybe 50, you know, you can buy like 3 clones for the price of like one authentic fragrance. And then your fragrance collection starts to get out of hand, and then you have too many fragrances. And, you know, so I think that's the problem with colognes. And that's why I would recommend keeping them to a minimum. For me, I have technically 4 bottles. One I've actually completely used. This one. It was my work scent when I worked at Costco, and just like every day, and I always got compliments. Again, even the boss at Costco thought I was wearing the original Creed Aventus. Like, she asked me, are you wearing Creed Aventus? I was like, no, something similar to it. But yeah, I mean, I can go through probably 10 of these bottles before I get to the price of an authentic Creed Aventus. And for something that smells so similar to the original in the air, you know, and this isn't just based off of me, this is based off the people around me. They smell it and they ask me if I'm wearing Creed Aventus. You know, sometimes it's a no-brainer. Colognes are necessary, especially to show you how cheap these can be made. Designer fragrances are usually like minimum, I'd say like 75 USD, maybe even 100. And realistically, they should be going for like 20, maybe 25. And the companies would still be making a profit, because these things are made with completely natural ingredients. And even, sure, synthetic ones still cost, but you know, most of this is alcohol. There's very few amount, I can't speak. There's a little amount of perfume oils in comparison to the alcohol in here. There isn't a high concentration of perfume oils in these fragrances. Like, maximum, I think, even elixirs or like, you know, parfums, they get to like 30%, 20 to 40%. I'm pretty sure is the range for those. So even then, more than half of what you're paying for is just the alcohol itself. Like, you know, not price-wise, but I'm just saying what you're getting in return. You're getting in return a glass bottle, which, okay, if it has a magnetic cap, it might cost a little bit more, but even magnetic caps, you don't find them that often. Glass bottle, which again, maximum when you mass produce them, even if you're a smaller brand, but again, all of these designer brands are huge, right? They're selling like quite a few bottles every year. They're not paying more than like $1, maybe $2. Not even that for a bottle. Then the juice inside, let's say maximum $5 for all the oils that they buy in bulk, and then they put a few drops in your fragrance, and then they jack up the price to like $100, and they're making crazy profit margins on these. Which, you know, that's the price you pay when you get into luxury items. Fragrances are not a necessity, right? Smelling good and smelling clean, yes, that's a necessity. You can buy shampoo, you can, you know, take showers and whatever, but fragrances are like a different level, right? So all these companies are just trying to take advantage of us, and the clone houses are really the only ones that are looking out for us, in all honesty. And, you know, I get the idea of, you know, the moral issue with, you know, just stealing or like copying, you know, your friend's homework, basically just taking what they made and making something very similar for a lot cheaper. Personally, if the other company was just and was selling it for a fair and reasonable price, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, you know, it's not necessary. But the fact that they can pull it off for less than half the price, I can't stand with the, you know, the OGs, because, okay, yeah, you produce the fragrance, but at the same time, like, you're taking advantage of us. So yeah, anyways, I'm sure you guys already knew the answers to this. You guys already probably have a ton of clones in your collection. And again, the only thing that I would really watch out for is just buying without even like properly testing the fragrance, making sure you like it. I would only buy clones if I actually really like the original fragrance. So don't fall into the trap of just buying clones because they're cheap. Buy it because you actually like it. And maybe, you know, just because it's cheap, don't buy like 3-4 backup bottles. Buy a bottle, run through it, then get yourself, you know, another bottle right after. Reformulations aren't as big of an issue as you might think with clones. Personally, I can't tell the difference between these, and these are like 1.5 to 2 years apart. They both still smell good, practically the same in the air. The performance is also really solid. That's another thing. You usually get way better performance with clones. There's just too many positive to clones for you to not buy them, you know? But again, don't go crazy, don't go overboard. That's just my philosophy. This is, you know, what I kind of do. I still have more original fragrances than clones in my collection, only because you can't get clones for everything, right? Usually niche fragrances are cloned, and then even like stuff like Dior Sauvage, yeah, Bleu de Chanel, usually when they're cloned, it's really not the same. So not every fragrance can be cloned, but it is really interesting that most of the niche ones can be cloned pretty accurately. It's something to think about. But anyways, that's the video for today. Go out, buy the clone version of your favorite fragrance. If the original one is expensive, you'll just save yourself money. You'll still get the same amount of enjoyment out of it. Just make sure you buy a good clone, because there are also bad clones. There's so many clones out there. Make sure you get one that people recommend and have tried, and one that also has good performance, because that's important. But anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and have a good day. Bye.